One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet whom millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
What's up, everybody, on a Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. Think I've got a really good show set up for you guys. I think so. But I just want to let you in on some ground rules here. Let me just check the mic, make sure everything's working. I have to be very, very careful with the topic that we will be discussing this evening. You see, tonight's topic is about Dementia Joe's recent executive order on newcomer arrivals. That's how I'm going to have to say it, because I'm not sure, even though every single thing I am going to talk about tonight is backed up by actual newscasts, actual videos from the various news sources, I still have to be careful that the dark overlords upstairs don't decide that I've hit the third rail and say, nope, you can't talk about that. Even though every single thing has been broadcast on news television. I have, basically 15 or 16 clips to talk to you about tonight. And every single one of them is in regards to Dementia Joe's brand new order. Now, in starting tonight, don't you all just feel so much safer? Don't you feel like, as of right now, everything that we have been worrying about for the last basically 3.5 years has been settled? There is nothing for you to worry about anymore. You can go to sleep at night, put your arms away, unlock, take the ammo out the arms. I'm having to use certain words here, and go to sleep. Just feel everything is going to be okay. Dementia Joe has solved the problem wherever you live. All of the newcomers that have arrived, there won't be any more coming. The ones that are here are going to be dealt with. Everything is fine. And I'm sure every one of you are like, yeah, right. Everything we've seen is basically choreographed. It's AstroTurf. It's complete BS. And I'm going to prove it to you tonight if you haven't seen a lot of this stuff already. None of it makes any sense. Well, actually, it does make sense. And I'm going to show you why Dementia Joe's order actually makes sense to him or whoever's running his campaign, whoever the puppet masters are, that, they're sure to be running, understanding what's going on. Aren't you just completely comfortable seeing this kind of video? It just says so much. It just tells me that everything that we're seeing here just makes you feel comfortable in America. There's no reason to worry. No reason whatsoever. Everything is fine. He took care of it. There was a problem, and Uncle Joe took care of it. If you believe that, then you believe that he was, how can I say that? There was a water main break in Georgia in 2020. Yeah, that's what happened. There was a water main break. And that all of the, drop boxes were fine. Nobody stuck. You believe it all. Just buy into it all. If you don't agree, you're one of those people. You're one of those people who deny stuff. How could you not? How could you not at this point today, on, June 5th, 2024, how could you not sit back and go, I've been lied to about everything? How could you not be accepting that? Today, just this little segue before I get into the border stuff, we found out, well, actually, some people who didn't know found out, most of you probably knew, but we found out, and I hope they don't drop the bomb on me for this, but that Hunter's laptop was actually real. Oh my God. Oh my God, I didn't know that. Hunter's laptop is real. The FBI, who along with 51 intelligence people, along with everybody in the media who said it was fake, it was disinformation, somehow that same laptop that many of us lost friends, maybe family members who got banned for even saying anything about this laptop. They entered it into evidence. At this point, and I'm using this as a preface for what I show you, how can we believe anything these people are saying? How can you as an American put your trust in the mainstream media ever again? Yeah, we all went through 2020. We all saw what happened on January 6th. We all just, we didn't like it, but we moved on. And we just kept going. I'm like, okay, we'll get through this. And then today, they tell us two things that blew me away. Actually, I found out one of these things yesterday. One of the things we found out yesterday, that Jack Smith, who has been prosecuting Trump in the, the document case where they raided his house, it came out yesterday, June 4th, 2024. It came out yesterday that who the hell is Jack Smith? He's a ghost. He was never approved to be a special counsel. Wasn't affirmed by the Senate. Nothing. This guy just showed up because Merrick Garland said, go get Trump. Was never confirmed by the United States Senate. And today, the doors fell off. I know I'm going to talk about the border, but I got to tell you this. Judge Cannon, down here in South Florida, said that, she needs to have a hearing as to determine whether or not this thing can even go forward. But the media told us that it was fine. I don't think Jack Smith is going to be able to go a court date further because he has not been confirmed. Has anybody anywhere told you that before Thomas Massey eviscerated Merrick Garland yesterday and got that out in the open? Why did it take all of this time, the raids, all of the crap throughout the media, for just last night, yesterday afternoon, for people to find out that this guy is unconstitutionally appointed? Every special counsel must be appointed and confirmed by the Senate. Never happened. They just had him do it. But I'm not done. I got more for you. The Georgia Court of Appeals stepped in today, and they smacked old Fanny on the fanny And they said, as of right now, everything Trump related is on hold. We are going to dig into every aspect of your life. We are going to find out, Fanny, that you've been a bad little Fanny, bad big Fanny. And we're going to start looking at everything to determine whether or not you can continue on this case. Which means that case is going nowhere before November. Done. Finished. It's done. Because, once they start digging into Fanny, they're going to find all the information we all know already. Again, that we all know already. That the media has hidden from everybody. There are a few of us on YouTube who try our best to tell you what's going on with Fanny. Hanging out with her boy toy. Putting socks in boxes of cash all throughout her house. But now, the Georgia State Court of Appeals has said, hold it. We're not going to let you do anything. So that's gone. So you have the potential at this point for both of those cases. Fannie Willis in Georgia and Jack Smith in Miami. Both those may be done. Which leaves New York. And then that's going to have to go through the regular Court of Appeals because that's not federal. That is state. Who knows what's going to happen. So just today, we have confirmed Fannie Willis, Georgia State Court of Appeals, you ain't doing nothing. Jack Smith, Judge Eileen Cannon says, we're not going to go forward till I have a hearing about the constitutionality of you even working on this. And in 3, we find out today the laptop is confirmed to be real by the very same people who told us it wasn't. The FBI put into evidence the laptop, and they showed all kinds of tawdry stuff at Hunter's hearing, which I don't give a shit about Hunter's, sorry, excuse my language, I don't care about Hunter's hearing and his stoned way he did things. What I care about when they start digging is where'd the money come for this, where'd the money come for that, where did the money go? Oh, wait a minute, I also left out something else, which they may not be talking about on television. So that's number 4 for you. The House committee that's been investigating Hunter and corruption on Dementia Joe referred a criminal prosecution referral to the DOJ for Hunter and James Biden. Whew. Today, what's this, the day before Flag Day, I think it is? Shit hit the fan. I had no other words to say, but shit hit the fan. These people are in a downward spiral that they no longer control. Even their media has been completely embarrassed. Completely. So I don't know if I'm the first to tell you all this information. You're welcome. Because now, I don't know what's going to happen. And it kind of concerns me because of the desperation, which is the title of today's show, desperation that these people are going to be experiencing. I'm going to have to take some sips because the wife got sick, and I think she kind of passed it on to me. So I'm going to have to keep my throat lubricated because I talk too much. So anyway, all of this has happened. It's just too much. Again, to recap, Georgia Court State of Appeals, Fannie, you're on hold. Eileen Cannon, Florida judge over Jack Smith, we got to have a hearing, find out about the legality of this. Obviously, you know about New York. We'll see what happens. I understand today they're trying to execute a search warrant or whatever and say Trump can't carry a gun. Whoopsie-doo, he doesn't care. And then the last thing was, the fourth thing was the laptop. And then the criminal referral for Hunter and James Biden for perjury. Whew. What a day. What a day. And so, that all being said, and I'm sure there'll be more information coming out that's real. Turn off the media at this point. They're lying. Nothing that they're saying makes any sense anymore. They've got to be flailing. They realize at this point that they're going to have to do something for their own credibility. It's incredible. It's crazy to me. There's videos going around from everywhere with 60 Minutes, especially the one where she went after Trump, excuse me, and told Trump, you're lying. This doesn't make any sense. The laptop can't be verified. She lied. She absolutely lied. Unless she's going to come out and tell people, oh, I didn't really mean that. Somebody told me to say that. I don't know how they're going to save themselves at this point. It's getting that bad. Because I don't know how she can survive that as a career. You went on television. You were basically calling the president of the United States at that time a liar to his face. To his face. Leslie Stahl, you said that Trump was lying. I'm going to get through this. I don't know how your credibility even comes back. Well, that's where we are. All right, so what happened today? See the newcomers, they're coming across, and I've got a bunch of cuts for you to take a look at. The first cut here is going to be something pretty funny. I mean, look at this stuff here. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. And we're supposed to think that this is okay. Night after night, day after day.
Yeah, there's a lot.
These people are just running through the border, and you expected it to stop today, I bet. Nah, that's not how it goes. And when I dig into this order with the help of Jesse Waters and a few people, you're going to find out how much of a BS moment this really is. And how it's... All right, so this video, many of you may have seen. This is back, I don't know, a year and a half or 2 years ago, where Dementia Joe waddles out to, for the helicopter and says, there's nothing I can do about the border. It's just me, just little old me president. Listen to what he says here.
With executive authority, the more you can do, absolutely
all I can do. Just give me the power. I've asked for the very day I got enough. Give me the border patrol. Give me the people to judge it. Give me the people who can stop this and make it work right.
So he wanted to know who the people were. Give me the power. I can't do anything. I don't have any power. How did it just mythically just reappear? I mean, you signed an executive order last night. Excuse me. How did that happen? If you didn't have it then, how do you have it now? Nobody's going to ask him that question. The media's not going to say it. They're hoping you don't remember and show these videos. He always had the power. He had the power from day one. Remember, he undid Trump's executive orders. If you had the power to undo what Trump did, then you always had the power to basically shut things down. But you didn't want to. But then what'd you do? You sent out, let's see here.
Well, President Harris led this effort.
I forgot you sent President Harris out. President Harris. We're not going to talk about the demented one here. But you sent President Harris out here to actually stop and shut the border down. How'd she do?
Led this effort to make things better in the countries from which they are leaving. And thanks to her leadership, she's been able to generate more than $3.2 billion.
So where'd that money go? She was supposed to help the countries who needed help keeping their people in place, but somehow it became a fundraising or a revenue point where $3.2 billion was brought in. How do you do that? How do you tell a country to keep their own migrants in place while at the same time being able to somehow raise $3-point-something billion? And where did that go, and how did she disappear? I don't know.
From the private sector to create jobs and opportunities in El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala.
I guess it didn't work. The private sector said, hey, here's billions of dollars, Joe. Go make these people stay there and create jobs in El Salvador and all these other countries. You heard the media talk about that? Where'd the people go? I don't know. Why are they still coming here if you tried to make it so much better for them there? And why did you stop? Why did Kamala come off the road? Why wasn't she over there just working every single day to basically get these people to stay in their own countries? Probably because there were too many damn countries. She'd be on an airplane like every single day, so they just gave up on it.
Tell people stay in their own countries, home countries, where it'll be safer and they have some opportunities.
What happened? never reported back on it, and of course the media never said anything about it. They just completely ignored it. She was supposed to go over as the new immigration czar and take care of this so people couldn't come into the country. But it didn't work. Just another failure of the Dementia Joe's administration. Another thing you want to note, if this wasn't too long ago, and he's a little bit more coherent. Look how much he has slid from then until now. It's moving fast. And those of you who have had relatives deal with this stuff, you know that between now and November, it's just going to continue to accelerate. That's a different story. All right, so this is him talking about his new order now, today, or yet rather yesterday, before everything happened. People just streaming across. The number is so foreign to me. At this point, we really have no idea. I've heard people say 10 million. I've heard people say 17 million. I've heard people say 22 million. He has completely, and I do mean completely, rearranged, and this country is on the precipice, in my opinion, of going over the edge because of all these millions and millions and millions of people, the newcomers that have come. I'm not saying the word, not saying what they are. You know what they are. God help us. That's all I can say. God help us. So let me see what some of you guys have to say. Harris is usually drunk, high, or hungover. There's a good thing here. I'm not sure I can read it, so you guys might just want to read along. I can say one of the word. The trafficking number is more than ever in history. Joe's open border somewhat contributes, I bet. And it's going to get worse. Wait till you hear about one of the provisions in his new order that makes absolutely no sense. I'm going to come back to you, Maritza, Mari222, because when you hear about one of these provisions, it's going to make your skin crawl. Absolutely going to make your skin crawl. Deborah says that the Bidens are criminals. Absolutely, I do believe that. Will he even have an election? Will we even have an election this year? What will they pull next? I don't know, but I did hear today that the WHO said the first American, I forget which state today, died of the bird flu. The first American died of the bird flu. I don't even know how we can address that without them clicking a button and telling me to go away. But I think they're going to be hard pressed to get people to comply again, if you know what I mean. And I think you do. Metabiota says 10% for the big guy. Boy, that 10% must be huge. You know, and later on, I got to show you one of the videos where people are like, how did Joe get all of these houses? How did Joe, who's worked 50 years in the Senate, whatever it is, making $150,000, $170,000 a year, get all this money? Nobody is talking about that. You would think there'd be some independent journalist that would be digging and saying, how are these people getting rich? How is AOC? How is Alvin Bragg? How is Letitia James? Is nobody looking at what Dr. Evil and how he's just moving money around? Are we all just supposed to take this as, it's no big deal, that's what you do. You get elected, you get rich. Everybody is in on this. And I do mean both sides of the aisle. There's a big reason why they don't want Trump back in office again. You know, normally when somebody gets elected, their first term is they try to basically feel their way around and decide how they're going to advance their agenda. And then in the second term, it's all bets are off and you do it. They knew if Trump got elected in 2020 that all bets were going to be off and he was going to just go balls to the wall. So they had to do anything they could dream of to stop Trump from getting elected and taking office in 2020. And I do mean everything. Now they're absolutely terrified. Because now if he does get that second term that he was hoping for, I can't imagine what's going to happen and what information we're going to find out. He has already said, I forget on Fox and Friends, he's going to give us the information on what really happened with 9/11. He's going to reveal the information what really happened with JFK. He said he's going to reveal all these congressional hush money harassment payments that went out. And then the biggie, of course, he's going to release the information on that guy who had an island. They can't have that. My concern for Trump is because they know that he probably already knows, but they also know that he will release this stuff and it will just make things crumble. So he better, it's going to get ugly. Will we make it to November? As one of the guys in the comments said, are we going to make it to November? I don't know. It's in God's hands at this point. It definitely is. Hey, Lady Angelia. Oh, God, this is making me crazy, angry, and I'm done with it. And the question, if his son or does not have any job experience, and who is this? Yeah, I know where you're going with that. You got ... dotted. But you know, this guy had no experience making $80,000 a month, had millions, tens of millions flowing through accounts, had tens of millions through grandkids' accounts. Nobody does that. We've had the entire media bought off for quite some time, and this is one of the reasons why, as you guys can probably see on this comment, that list for that guy who owned that island is going to do in a lot of people. A lot. You're going to see big names. I mean, who knows what's going on with Diddy at this point? Why'd they come after him? But if you ever want something fun to watch the video with Cat Williams. When he starts saying in 2024, everything is going to get revealed. A lot of these celebrities already know who's done what. They just can't say. They've been sworn to secrecy. You're never going to work again. Or worse, if you say something. This isn't conspiracy theory stuff, as we've seen. At this point, there are no coincidences. There are no conspiracies. The left has figured out that they can get away with stuff as long as they can buy the time. Because they know by the time it goes through the court, I mean, look how long it's taken to find out that Jack Smith wasn't appointed correctly. A year? 2 years? And we're just now finding out only because, it got put out by the congressional hearing? They know, hey, listen, you can't do student loans like this. You can't. The Supreme Court said no. Oh, yeah, I can. I can keep doing it until it goes back around to the court and they say something. Oh, we can put Trump in jail until the Supreme Court gets the appeal. Our Constitution was written in such a way that they didn't expect people in government to be such reprobates. Is that the word? Yeah, that's the word. They didn't think that cheating would be built in. That they bake in. I mean, remember, some of you guys might be old enough when they talked about, what was the guy? The guy's, he's dead now. Harry Reid, when he said that a bunch of stuff about Mitt Romney years ago. And then they interviewed him. He goes, it worked, didn't it? They don't care. They'll tell you, they'll look at a camera and they will tell you everything they want to tell you, no matter if it's true or not, because you won't find out the lie for months, maybe years later. Just remember that guy who died in jail because the guards fell asleep, who owned that island, who got an $80 million townhouse in New York given to him, $80 million. Darn truth. The guy who owned Victoria's Secret gave that guy an $80 million townhome in New York City. Gave it to him. I mean, I've heard of some gifts. $80 million. This guy, people haven't dug into that. Hey, what did you do for a living, guy who owns an island? You have an island. You have jets. You have tons of money. What did you do? Don't hear it. And remember, just getting a little bit off track here. I'm sorry. But do many of you remember the woman from ABC who said she had the tapes. She had Clinton. She had everything dead to right. She thought she was speaking on a dead mic. Her mic was open. She goes, I had it all. I was ready to broadcast it. I think she's doing weather in Uzbekistan right now. She just got completely pushed away. I don't know, maybe she's on the third shift of ABC at this point, but gone, gonzo. And she never spoke about it again. See, that's the thing that's just really chilling. Some of these people are like, hey man, I had this information. Gotta go. They just go away. Nobody talks about it. Now you're going to see the same thing with Diddy. I doubt that thing goes to trial. I think there'll be a plea deal. I don't think there'll be any witnesses, and I think he'll just take his time. Somebody, relatives, or whoever may get paid, shift all his assets there. Be a good boy. Do your time. That's how somebody in this government is operating. And Dementia Joe, I don't think he's in control. I think he's one of the puppets, one of the marionettes that they put where they needed him to be. Just do what we tell you. Shut up. Don't say anything. And now all these people, Jen Psaki, everybody, there's videos on them all lying about the laptop. Every single one of them. They knew it was real. They looked in a camera. They blamed it on something else and told us we can't use it. So let me tie this back in. So now we're supposed to believe that there's really this border thing. This border thing that all of a sudden, today or yesterday, Dementia Joe wants to take care of. So let's hear what he had to say about that.
I believe that immigration has always been a lifeblood of America. We're constantly renewed by an infusion of people and new talent.
Notice they never say legal immigration. As many of you know, my father came from Jamaica. Many of my relatives, his brother, my aunts, my uncles came from Jamaica. The real way. There has to be some differentiation pointed out. When you talk about immigration, they never say the word legal in front of it. To them, it's all the same.
The Statue of Liberty is not some relic of American history.
Statue of Liberty is not governmental. It was gifted to us. I don't understand why so many people on the left refer to the Statue of Liberty, because that's not the Constitution. The Constitution tells you who gets to come here and when and how they get to work to live here, not some statue off an island that France gave us. Come on, man. You're president. Do better than that.
It stands for who we are as the United States. So I will never demonize immigrants. I'll never refer to immigrants as poisoning the blood of a country. And further, I'll never separate children from their families at the border.
Remember what you just heard. Remember what you just heard not even 24 hours ago. I will never separate children from their families. 24 hours he said this. Yesterday. We're talking yesterday. And wait till you hear what happened.
I will not ban people from this country because of their religious beliefs. I will not use the U.S. military to go into neighborhoods all across the country to pull millions of people out of their homes and away from their families, to put detention camps and while awaiting deportation, as my predecessor says.
Whoa. As my predecessor what?
He will do if he occupies his office again.
All right, so your predecessor, who says that if he gets into office again, is going to basically do the largest deportation effort ever seen in America. Thanks, Joe. You just gave him a campaign slogan. You will never do that. We're, as Americans, who you're supposed to be looking out for, you're saying, I'm never going to do that. They're all going to stay. He just said that. Not my words. I'm never going to do that. So what are you going to do with 10, 12, 15, 22 million people? They're in the country that they're not supposed to be in. I can't say the words. And they're just out there. And then there's no more money to take care of them. What do you think is going to happen, Joe? What's going to happen when they don't have any more ATM cards? When they're not getting free bus passes and free subway passes? What do you think is going to happen?
On my very first day as president, I introduced a comprehensive immigration reform plan.
I am so sick of people saying I'm issuing a comprehensive immigration reform plan. I'm going to do this, and it's the Republicans' fault because they didn't take and do something with my immigration plan. Dude, we already have a plan. It's in black and white. You're trying to change the immigration laws in this country, and that's what's getting hit up against basically a brick wall per se. Is you keep trying to change the rules that everybody has lived under for quite some time.
To fix our broken system.
It's not broken. It's just not being enforced. There's a difference between something broken. I mean, if my microphone broke, I'd have to buy a new microphone. If my camera broke, I'd have to go get a new camera. But as of today, both seem to be working fine. I don't have to change anything. You know, Joe, the old cliche, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Our border, provide a pathway for citizenship for dreamers.
That's what they want. Make no bones about it. That's what's most important. We need to find a pathway to citizenship. No, we don't. I'm not being mean. I know my dad did. We already have a pathway to citizenship. You see how everything they've done for the last 4 years, they tell you what words you can use, what words you can't use, what words you can't use in a video. And they're very, very, very good with semantics. So much to the point it makes you want to throw up, doesn't it? Makes you just want to sit back and go, you're changing our language. Pronouns, everything else. I mean, they even said something, I can't get into it because they'll swoop in. But you understand what I'm saying.
A lot more. And I'm still fighting to get that done. But we must face the simple truth. To protect America as a land that welcomes immigrants, we must...
No! Protect America, period. And then people who decide to come through and are immigrants legally. They just mesh that all together like it was one sentence.
First, secure the border and secure it now. The simple truth is, there is a worldwide migrant crisis. And if the United States doesn't secure our border, there's no limit to the number of people who may try to come here.
Did somebody just wake him up and tell him that? I mean, you've been president since, January of 2020, and you're acting like, hey, man, I need to do something because these people are all coming, and there's no limit to how many people would show up. Did people actually watch this speech yesterday and go, yeah, he's right. It's a good idea. We need to do something to, stop the worldwide migration to America because too many people might come. No shit, Joe. Where you been?
Because there's no better place on the planet than the United States of America.
President Biden's been trying to get immigration reform since his first day in office. So this should not come as a surprise to anyone. You have to do an end run every once in a while, and that's exactly what today is all about.
Did you hear those words? You have to do an end run every once in a while, and that's what today is all about. An end run. We're going to try and sneak past you guys so you don't see what we're doing, and that's what this is all about. She said that with a smile on her face. Every once in a while, you got to do an end run. What end run? The executive order should be, pretty much simple, right? You're just going to make it that people just can't come here. You're cutting it off. That's what the media's telling everybody again. So what's the end run that you have to do every once in a while? I'm shocked. I don't understand. It's pretty much straightforward. Turn the lock, take the key out, turn the lights off. Done. We're closed, right? That's what you're telling everybody, that you got to shut the border down. No, they are making an end run. They are laughing in your face and going on television and telling you every once in a while we have to do an end run. We have to find a way around things. We got to circle back, come around a different way. what you may not see. We can't do it direct. Why would you ever have to do an end run? Having played football, I know what an end run is. Those of you who have played football, you know what an end run is. It's a deception-based play to let people think you're going this way, but really you're going to double back and go that way. I don't think she understood the words that came out of her mouth. I mean, or maybe she did, but I can't believe she said that on television. I don't know if you saw that before. She smiled at the White House right when they were doing this thing and said, every now and then you have to do an end run. Sorry, people. We have to deceive you every once in a while. Not my words. I didn't make it up. She just said it. And that's what this is all about. Her exact words. Every now and then, you have to do an end run. You have to screw the American people. And that's what today is all about. Her exact words, in cahoots with Dementia Joe. These people are evil, man. They're evil, and they don't even want to hide it anymore. Where is that? John Hale. Yep, it's true. It's absolutely true. They don't even try to hide it anymore. Exactly, Alicia. Oh, Alicia, what a sorry excuse for a president is what Alicia said. Adios, Hochul. Yeah, she should be adios. She should be long gone by now. But, you know, she squeaked in. She beat, I think it was Lee Zeldin, and she became governor. And I bet you there are many people in New York are like, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. Esad says, Agenda 21 started in 1992. Are people still learning about it? Yep. What I worry about is them getting rid of Biden and Kamala Harris stepping in as active president. I bet you he's your best insurance at this point. Best insurance for him in jail is that you've got Kamala behind you. She would be a complete disaster. Thanks, Maximum. Thank you very much for the kind words. Why, Sean Lucifer, how you doing, buddy? Why is New York not calling for her removal? Trump must punish all these sick you-know-whats doing this to the USA. I completely agree. Let's see. If you say these words, I fear for my life, you automatically let in stupidity of the JoJo squad. Now, shh, you're giving things away. I didn't get that far yet. So there's a hint for you how porous, how much BS this entire executive order is. It's absolutely insane. So let's go ahead and listen to the next guy.
The goal here is to reduce the number of people who come to the southern border of the United States and cross illegally.
Notice the words he just said. Anybody pick up on it? Boys and girls in class here, reduce. In his first press conference, Mayorkas, this guy who looks like Dr. Evil's young son, he didn't say eliminate. He didn't say stop. He didn't say shut the border down. He said reduce. Silly people. Silly people thought we were going to shut the border down. Are you kidding me? We're not going to do that. You're nuts.
Our goal is to drive people who seek and need humanitarian relief into the lawful, safe, and orderly pathways that we have built. And so individuals who arrive at our border and cross illegally will be barred from asylum with exceptions.
Okay, here we go. Let's see if he names the exceptions. Hey, you can't come in this door unless you're one of these accepted groups. Let's see who's accepted from the supposedly closed border.
But nevertheless, you would say...
And he didn't say. So now, Neil Cavuto, because he's out there doing the rounds, and Neil's going to ask him some questions here.
The president said a number of times, sir, that the border already was secure. So obviously it's not.
Oh, Neil, we've been talking about strengthening the security of the border since day one.
That's not what he said. What Neil said was that the border was secure. There's many interviews where Mayorkas has gone to Congress and has said the border is secure. Notice how he quickly turned that around. I stop these things when I do these reaction videos because I need to point things out because it's so subliminal and it's so quick. He said strengthen. He didn't say shut it down. He said strengthen it. Strengthen it.
The challenge of irregular migration is very, very dynamic.
So it's fluid. It's fluid is what he's saying. So Trump, having seen all this stuff happen, decided he was going to release his response to it. I'm sorry, I've got the lower third over it. When I cut this, I forgot to cut it out. My bad. I did 2 shows today, so I kind of got in a hurry. But listen to what Trump actually says here and how he talks about, what he sees.
So many Trump immigration policies, it would take so much time to list them.
There have been more than 1 million migrant encounters since October 1st, when our fiscal year began. It is the earliest this milestone has ever been reached.
It's a mess that this administration created from day one.
Smugglers and cartels exploiting chaos at the border.
Agents are being removed from the line. They're having to process. They're having to do all the administrative work. And who is it that's, flourishing from this? It's the drug cartels.
Cartel gunmen stroll along the riverbank, armed with rifles. It's here where cartel gunmen have repeatedly been seen wandering through the brush after crossing into the U.S. illegally.
And it's not going to stop because this administration doesn't want it to stop.
This administration just does not care about the American people. They've shown that time and time again.
That is the U.S. side of the Rio Grande.
58 terrorists have crossed the southern border.
The entire world is showing up here at our doorstep. They're crossing illegally, and they are expecting to get released here into the United States.
We are in the biggest crisis, border security crisis, that we've ever faced in the history of this country. Nobody has done worse on border security than President Biden. In all aspects of border security, he is clearly failing. He has no answers.
This is insane. The federal government has to wake up.
I know that 1,000 overwhelms the system. I cannot begin to imagine what 4,000 a day looks like.
4,000 per day. And we well exceeded that. And I love what Trump put when he posted this on True Social. He said, the border crisis will end on January 20th, 2025. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. So let's continue here.
Take a look at...
All right, so I'm going to come back to this in a second. Why all of a sudden, just out of the blue, right after your opponent was convicted, why did you all of a sudden have to get out there and do the dog and pony show and make it appear as though you're going to close the border? Why now? Why in June of 2024? You're almost at the finish line for the election. You got 6 months to go. Why now did you have to do it? Well, let me show you why he had to do it. I don't mean wanted to, why he had to do it right now.
This question, again, the trend line here is so telling. Would Biden or Trump do a better job on border security / immigration? You go back 4 years ago to June of 2020. Joe Biden held it within the margin of error, but still a slight lead at +1 point over Donald Trump on the issue of border security and immigration. Take a look now at May of 2024. Look at this movement in Donald Trump's direction. Now he is...
That's a 28-point differential. Trump went from being down 1 point to ahead by 27. If CNN got this data, and whenever they published it, I think it was yesterday, then the White House got it way before then, and they went, hey man, hey man, we got a huge problem. We're losing the blacks, we're losing Hispanics, and people just don't want to deal with this border stuff. You got to do something, Joe. This is nuts. There's no way you can sustain this.
Trusted on the issue of border security and immigration versus Joe Biden by a 27-point margin. That is nearly a 30-point jump. You know, there have been a lot of issues that have been moving in the former president's direction during the course of this campaign, but I can't really find a single issue that has moved more towards Donald Trump versus 4 years ago than this particular issue. Again, when you're dealing with something that's now one of the nation's top problems, according to the American public,
so understand what he's saying. And this guy, I like his data and how he approaches things because he doesn't sugarcoat it. You're talking about an election in 2020 that was won by a scant. Won by a scant. 4 points, I believe, 4 or 5 points. And since that time, since that 2020 election, you have slid 20 plus points with the blacks, 18 to 20 points with the Hispanics, and nearly 30 points with the second biggest issue of all voters. Not just black, not just Hispanic, not just white. All voters are really concerned about not removing babies, not the climate change. Number one, as you very well know because you live a life, number one is the economy. Number two is immigration. 28-point differential. It has completely moved to Trump.
An issue that's moving very much towards the former president. You can definitely see why the current president, Joe Biden, felt like he needed to act, because at this particular point, the issue of border security and immigration is truly hurting Joe Biden's reelection chance.
In other words, he had no choice. There was no choice left. I'm sorry if Ayanna Pressley and AOC and all the rest of the squad gets pissed off, but from an election perspective, he had no choice. They had to basically make it appear like they were doing something, even if they weren't doing anything, because he had no choice. You can't lose that many voters. It's incredible. Let's continue with this.
Just how important is this immigration issue to American voters?
It's massively important, Jessica.
Massively important.
Massively important. So I just want to create sort of a timeline for you, a trend line of how different we are in the American electorate now versus where we were 4 years ago. So immigration is the nation's top problem. You know, last time around when Biden was facing off against Trump, just 1% of Americans said it was the top problem back in May of 2020. That ranked, get this, 15th on the list of most important problems, according to the American public. Look at where we are today in May of 2024. 18%. My goodness gracious, what a jump from May of 2020. 18% of Americans said that immigration or something within that realm is the nation's top problem.
Now, he's wrong there. As you can see in his graph, he kind of screwed up. I notice those things because sometimes I mess up my graphs. It's ranked number two. Number two. Because, of course, the economy is number one, and their graph says immigration is the nation's top problem. No, that's not true. He knows it's not true. He just messed up when he was talking. It's number two. Number two out of everything is immigration. And he's getting destroyed by immigration. So the number two, I don't even know what Dementia Joe's top 5 issues are, because he's not addressing stuff that people actually care about. Some of you are married, and if you're married, and I've been married 30 plus years now with my wife Robin, and I know what is most important to her. Like with most families, number one, finances. Want to make sure we're secure. How many people get divorced over finances? Number two, safety, which goes to number one, security. She wants to make sure we're safe. And of course, as a husband, I want to make sure she's safe. We live in South Florida. Today was probably close to 100 degrees. You just go out in your pool. We're not worried about climate change. We're not worried about, maybe because we're older, about removing babies. All the stuff that the Democrats think is really high on people's list isn't usually in their top 2 or 3. Everybody looks at something and says, I want to or keep more of my money. I don't want to be shelling it out in taxes. Number two, I don't want these people flooding into the country so you can take the money that I am left with after taxes and give it to them. I don't want you giving it to a country thousands of miles away so you can just basically create wars. They are not listening to what the people actually want. I've been in marketing for quite some time. The number one rule in all of marketing, give the people what they want. Dementia Joe's campaign completely ignores that. They have ignored it for almost 4 years now. They do not want to give people what they want. They want to give people what they think is most important to them. They've completely lost the definition of representative government. As a representative government, you were elected to do what we want you to do. And they all seem to forget that once they get in place. That has to change.
That ranks second. So a clear movement from 15th to second in terms of the nation's top problems. It's not much of a surprise, Jessica, that President Biden feels like he has to make a move on this right now.
Not much of a surprise that he has to make a move on it right now. His hand was forced. He had no choice. Things are sliding off the edge into the abyss, and there's nothing he can do about it. I don't think there's nothing he can do about it now. I think it's too close to the time. And then, of course, we've got the debate on the 27th. Basically, the standard for that debate is he's got to be breathing and being able to stand for 2 hours. And they'll come out, the media will come out and say he did fantastic. And, of course, Jake Tapper and Dana Bash aren't going to ask him the pertinent question. They're not going to say and call him out and fact check him. I guarantee you it won't happen. They're going to do everything they possibly can to continue lying to the American public, which I think is doing him a further injustice. Because people are rolling their eyes and they're turning it off and they're watching people like me on the debate, and we're gonna call it right as it is. We're gonna be talking about it, and I'm sure there's a bunch of other people that people are flocking to and listen to it, and like, oh, that's a lie. No, that's a lie too. Oh, why? The question to me when you would say something at this point, hey, Joe, on June 4th, you put forth this immigration plan, and that was to not stop people from coming, but just to slow it down per se. Why didn't you do that a year ago? That would be just an awesome question to ask. Guarantee you it doesn't get asked. Because that tape we have, that would be a perfect setup. Joe, on this date you said you didn't have the power. Okay, but on this date you went on television and said you had to do something. What's the deal here? Why'd you lie? Why'd you lie? And Jacqueline says, F Bidenomics. We want Trumponomics back now. As I've said many times, this is the first election in our history where you've got two people who have two sets of statistics that are easy to compare. This would be the easiest debate in history to actually moderate if you cared about the truth. Well, hey, Joe, on this date, gas is $1.89. On this date, the average gas price is $3.62. What the hell happened? Why did you stop drilling? The American people are like, drill. What? If you believe in what you say, you should tell the truth. See, that's one of the problems I have with Dementia Joe and many of these people. Because if I believed it, if I felt it was strong, and I felt there was enough people who believed in what I had to say, if that question got posed to me, I was like, hey, Dana, I understand people are paying more for gas right now than they were under my opponent, but understand I'm working to the betterment of the people, and I'm going to try and take care of the climate. I feel at this point it is my calling to take care of people, and if we have to pay more now, then so be it. Just say that. He'll never say that. He'll come up with some reason why it's more expensive now. And then I would go back to do the same thing with Trump. In fact, I would bring up the trial and everything else that people are caring about. They don't like asking Dementia Joe the real questions. Styles Slade says, Trump is we the people patriot. Patriotism is a big tent. All freedom-loving patriots are welcome. That would be something. Hey, Dementia Joe, are you a patriot? You just shut up. Just let him at that point answer that question. You know, we followed many of your speeches, and we've heard many of things you had to say. You never say that America is a great country. Well, what would he say? Won't say it. Trump will never be my savior, but I will accept him as my president. Bingo. They, again, on the left, they say we worship Trump. No, that's just because you don't understand faith. You just don't understand people who have given their lives to Jesus Christ. You don't understand it. It's foreign to you. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever to you. You mock it. You think we're nuts. You think that we're the number one domestic terrorist problem in the country. You know, those people who believe in Jesus. Ooh, you gotta watch out for them. They put the 75-year-old lady in jail for 2 years, somebody's grandmother, because she prayed outside of one of those clinics. We're not talking, she wasn't dealing fentanyl. She didn't shoot somebody. She didn't come across the border. She prayed. She prayed at a clinic, and they put her in jail for 2 years. Trump has said it. He means it. Understand it. They're coming for him because he stands in the way of them coming for us. And the more cases like that I see, where good people got thrown in jail, some are still in jail, rotting away, being treated like crap because they were strong Americans. I've never seen, I can't say the words even, which is horrible that we can't even discuss that thing. I've wanted to do videos on January 6th for so long. It's the third rail, man. That's how bad we've slid. It's the third rail. Wake up, the real problem is the terrorist threat. Yeah, I'm concerned. I'll let you see it, and you tell me how you're concerned. Who are these people that are coming in? Remember, it only took, 11 people to commandeer 3 planes to take down these buildings and cause the worst thing in American history. 11 people. Not 11 million. 11. 11 million, 12, 15, 22 million people that we have no idea who they are and where they are. What are those people capable of? That, to me, is extremely scary. So let's continue here.
Where are you guys from? What country?
Mauritania.
Mauritania.
All right, so this is Bill Malhusian walking along the border at night. Scary by itself. I mean, and he starts asking these people, where are you from? Mexico? Panama? Dominican Republic? Haiti? No. Mauritania. Do you know where Mauritania is? It's in friggin' Africa. What in the hell are these people from Africa, these men from Africa, doing crossing the border of the United States? I can't get to Africa. I'd have to basically get plane tickets to go on vacation. Somehow these guys got from Africa to the border. Answer that.
From Africa?
Yes.
Yeah? And why'd you guys come to the United States? What country?
Right there, Border Patrol agent should say, I don't think so. Hey man, why'd you come here? What? What? And you're just gonna, I'm just gonna walk through. No big deal. Move, white guy.
Nepal.
Nepal?
Yeah.
Nepal! Viva Nepal! Do you know where Nepal is? For those of you who don't know where Nepal is, I challenge you to go look that up on a map. Nepal is basically the top of the friggin' world. You're telling me these guys came down the mountain, across the terrain, made their way across, okay, came down the mountain, made their way across some amazing terrain to somehow get on some boat, some airplane, something to come all the way to America. No, don't worry. Everything's fine.
All of you from Nepal?
Yeah. No English.
No English. What country?
No English. How did you know to say no English? You didn't say no Espanol. You said no English, no Anglais. Well, I don't know how you say it, but you just spoke English. No English.
Vietnam.
Vietnam. What country?
Vietnam. Wait, these aren't border countries. Vietnam.
You from?
Mauritania.
Mauritania?
Yeah.
Mauritanians?
Mauritania, yeah.
Where are you guys from? What country?
India.
India. Doo-doo-doo. Strolling across the border. I'm from India. Seen a woman yet? I'm just asking. I ain't seen a woman yet.
This is America. See the red lights? That's Border Patrol. Great.
All right, so notice, guy on the screen right there, red and white Nike sweatshirt. That sweatshirt probably costs $50, $75. All of them have knapsacks. They don't look like they've come across the border dying of food, thirst. Oh, I can't wait to get to America. America, thank you. I need water. Nope, I'm from Mauritania. I'm just going to keep walking. Where are you from? Viva Nepal. Dude, ain't you hungry from walking across the desert? No, I'm pretty fine. Where are you from? Mauritania. Everything's fine. Don't worry about me. India. Huh? India. Be afraid.
No. San Diego. See the lights?
San Diego. Okay, thank you.
And then take a look at this. I shot this video as the migrants were waiting for Border Patrol. A bunch of them went up to the border wall and started snapping photos and selfies, celebrating the...
Celebrating. Taking selfies. What were they taking selfies with? What? Oh, selfie. Clickety Selfie. Where the hell did you get the phone? How much did you pay for the phone? How do you have service already in the United States? Do you have satellite service? What carrier are you with? How did you get on? How are you connected to the internet? Who are you sending these pictures to? Nobody asks these questions. I don't know what you paid for your phone. I have an Android. I have a Note 22. My phone costs four figures. And these guys are lined up on the border right there, all taking pictures. Does that sound like someone who's escaping and needs humanitarian aid? You came all the way from Mauritania with a potentially $1,000 cell phone, and you're telling me you need humanitarian aid? Why didn't you sell the phone? You're telling me along the way there wasn't somebody who said, I could use a hamburger. Hamburger, please. Hamburger or rice or whatever. Here's a phone. Here's my watch. We're supposed to buy all this, right? Oh, by the way, none of y'all got girlfriends? Wives? Nothing? Just all you guys just decided to get together and go, hey man, let's go to the United States. All right, let's pack up and go. But we only have a knapsack. Wow, by the time we get to America, we're going to kind of stink. We don't have a change of clothes. Where are we going to stop and take showers? What are we going to eat along the way? Tired of being lied to.
Arrived in the United States, almost using the border wall kind of as a tourist attraction, almost it looked like, or some sort of background for their social media photos. And back out here live, you can see behind us another group has just crossed illegally. They're predominantly Colombians. I talked to them a few moments ago. They want to go to New York, primarily Brooklyn. You look on the ground right here, torn up travel documents from Indian nationals. And then you look over to our right over here, you got more people from all over the world waiting.
Colombia. Do you know where Colombia is on the map? Let me tell you. I could point to it, but there's a big thing of water in between. How did they get from Colombia across basically two other countries to, where is this? Jacumba, California. Nobody asking these questions. And not one of them said, hey, listen, man, I'm so parched. I need some water. I need some food. No, I'm good.
For Border Patrol to pick them up. These guys are from Asia. There's a couple Chinese.
Asia.
There you can see they brought their luggage with them.
I know you're disgusted. If you're watching this, you're probably disgusted right now. You're realizing if you haven't seen this stuff before, I feel sorry for you. I mean, most of us have probably seen some of this kind of stuff. It's no secret. It's been what's been going on over and over. You won't see it on any of the other channels. When I say channels, I'm talking about this is on Fox, obviously. You won't see this on MSNBC. You won't see it on CNN. You won't see it on NBC. You won't see it on ABC. Nobody has been showing people what's going on. This is right after Dementia Joe signed the order.
They're waiting for Border Patrol to pick them up. Guys, the bottom line is, as we wait for President Biden to see what this announcement is today, these migrants out here, they just don't fear consequences right now, and they haven't for several years. There's no fear of removal, no fear of deportation. Will President Biden change that today with whatever he's about to announce? We'll wait and see.
Remarkable stuff, Bill. Really extraordinary. Just one of many, many times that you brought reports like this to us. Just a simple question. If everybody's got an iPhone that's charged, what are they doing on the Mexican side of the border? Where do they get that? Where are they staying? Who's helping them?
Yeah, that's a question we've been wondering, too. And we are able to see in some Telegram channels that these smugglers operate how they get them to the border. They drive them up in SUVs and little convoys, because this area is out in the middle of nowhere on the Mexican side. There's not a Mexican city across from us. We're in the middle of nowhere on the California side. It is a very well-oiled, well-organized machine that these cartel smugglers are operating. And in those Telegram group chats, some of them had been talking about this announcement that Biden is supposed to make today, wondering what it is going to be. So the president...
And the fact that he's telling people what I'm sure they already know. I'm sure that the cartels, it may take them a day or two to basically drop back, and they're not going to punt. They're going to rehuddle and figure out, okay, we understand what we need to do now. It's not over.
The president has an opportunity here. He can crack down. He can start increasing deportations. He can start imposing consequences. And maybe that will start changing some of the mindsets here at the southern border where there's no fear of consequences.
What makes this San Diego...
Okay, so I'm going to come back to that. So that was pre-issuance of the order. And nobody seems to have any concern as to what is going on. They're like, hey, let's just, quote, business as usual. We're just going to come from Nepal and Mauritania and Asia and friggin' Nepal. And we're just going to just stroll in across the border without any women. Just coming over, taking selfies, $1,000 phones, fully charged. What's going on? Why wasn't Kamala or somebody looking into how are they doing this? There hasn't been one newscast that says, here's how they're traveling. Nobody has shown us that yet. It's absurd. B. Borrowed says they enter the Darien Gap. UN Rigos awaits, takes them to Mexico. Then cartels take over. Yep. NGOs sponsored by Dr. Evil. Caitlin Brandon, you may be right. We may be paying for every single one of these people. How many? This will only stop when Trump takes office. I'm voting for a felon. You're absolutely right. I'm right with you. It makes me very sad to see what the USA has become. Makes a lot of us that way. A lot of us feel that way. China is trying to take over. They don't have to try. That's the scariest part. They don't even have to try. There is no effort. Hey, just show up. They're going to let you in. Just walk across. There's no effort. Those people don't look like they've missed a single meal. You walk around in one of our inner cities in America, and you see people living in tents who are struggling to find a way to eat, or completely strung out on fentanyl. These are healthy, for the most part, young men. It's unbelievable. Florida native says something that I'm concerned about. Janie Cavender says the cartels have infiltrated all the Indian reservations. Scary. Twin Spark says Biden probably gave it to China for 10 mil. Be careful. Be very careful. A lot of the stuff you guys are saying, I just want to let you know. I'm reading some of these chats. A lot of what you're saying, I completely agree with you. I just can't put it on the screen because the powers that be don't like it. But what you're saying is absolutely true. All right, so listen to this. This is Bill Malusian again.
Sector where we are so unique is we almost never see any Mexicans or Central Americans crossing illegally out here. It's always people coming from the other side of the world. Case in point, take a look at this video we shot last night. We were out here as...
So this is today, and so he's telling Harris Faulkner basically what we just saw.
President Biden's executive order was taking effect around sunset local time. Came across this group of predominantly Chinese and Vietnamese nationals being arrested by Border Patrol after crossing illegally. They were simply processed as this executive order was taking effect. It's been business as usual out here. Haven't really...
Understand. So business as usual. So these people are crossing into America illegally. They're given a court date or a summons that says, here, all right, here you go. You understand what this says? Okay, we'll see you in 3 years. Meanwhile, in New York, they have Trump trying to put him in Rikers Island over what? And these people are doing, and we don't even know who they are. That's incredible to me.
Seen any big change one way or the other. We'll show you what we saw earlier in the afternoon.
Somebody woke this guy up. He just, big yawn. Hey, we got to go get our paperwork or whatever so we can go into America.
Take a look at this video, Harris. This was a bunch of guys from the Middle East crossing illegally in a much bigger group. Several of them, those special interest aliens, meaning they are coming from countries that have potential national security or terror concerns, and they're supposed to get additional...
Okay, he just used the term that you guys probably hadn't heard of. Special interest. Hey, these people are coming from a country where we're not really sure what their intentions are. But don't worry, we're going to let them in. What? Yeah, you just tagging back. Just keep them going. And this is the first woman I've seen. Man, they've got a lot of single men in these countries, don't they? Are you guys all celibate, whatever? I don't know. But they all came across without women. There's the first woman I've seen. And the guy behind her with the whitish blonde hair, he's huge. He don't look hungry.
DHS vetting. We caught up with several guys from Egypt, Jordan.
Egypt. Do you know where Egypt is on the map? Good Lord.
In Turkey. Take a
look at all these people.
Jordan.
Yeah.
Jordan.
Yeah.
Why'd you come to Egypt? Why'd you come to America?
For job.
I'm sorry. Jobs. If he had said that to a regular government, that I'm coming here to take one of your people's jobs, you'd be immediately turned around. Getting a job is not seeking refuge. Getting a job is not qualifications for taking asylum. You're not under any threat or emergency. What are you looking to do? I'm coming over here to work, make some money. No problem. Come on in.
A job?
Yeah.
You know it's illegal to cross the border like this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't care. I know. I'm going to do it.
You don't care?
Yes, I'm okay.
Hi, guys. Where are you guys from?
Egypt.
What country? Egypt? Where are you from? What country?
I am from Turkey.
Turkey?
Yeah.
Turkey. Is your blood boiling yet? It should be. This is just like in a couple of hours or whatever. Not for the last couple of years. Turkey, where are you going? Where are your women at? Are you all of that persuasion? Are you all, you know what I'm talking about? Of course not. Where are their women? Did you just leave your wives and families and say, screw it, we're going to America?
All Turkey?
Yeah. I love you.
Where are you from?
From Egypt.
Egypt. Okay. Egypt.
I have no words. I have no words.
And Harris, you heard that Jordanian man there tell me he's not here for asylum. He came here to work. He knows he did it illegally, and he doesn't care that he broke the law. There's not a fear of consequences. Well, to that point, we just got some new data leaked to us from our CBP contacts, which shows that here in this San Diego sector, since October 1st, the current release rate for illegal immigrants here is 78%. That means almost 8 out of 10 people crossing illegally in this sector are released into the United States.
Does that scare you?
So
it should. Now, if that didn't scare you, and I'm trying to move along here because we've been here an hour and a half almost already. Listen to this as Mnuchin begins to talk about what's in the actual order. If you weren't terrified before, now you're going to realize what Kathy Hochul was saying. You're about to find out between what Bill Mnuchin says and what Jesse Waters says, the meat and potatoes of this order. The meat and potatoes that Dementia Joe tried to hide from you, that Kathy Hochul basically said was the end run. We're going to secure the border. We're going to stop this. We're going to make sure the flow is taken care of. All right, hope you got a drink because these next couple of minutes are going to be eye-opening.
Reading this executive order, what I can say is in no way should it be described as shutting down the border. And all
you won't hear that on any other newscast. This what he said, and obviously you heard Kathy Hochul say it's an end run. It is not going to shut down the border. So, Barry, what's it going to do? Let's go. He's going to go through it point by point.
Explain why. There are several exceptions to this executive order he's going to be announcing.
And you heard Mayorkas say that earlier. Oh, there's going to be some exceptions. Okay, let's look at the details here. Let's figure out what these exceptions are.
Number one, this is not going to stop or slow the up to 1,500 migrants per day who are being released into the country by showing up at a CBP port of entry with an appointment on a cell phone app called CBP One.
Okay, so you have to understand what he just said. If you have a cell phone, which we just saw all those guys standing at the wall taking selfies, if somehow you were to download this app that they put out there across the world, if you have the app on your phone, you can click, oh, America, very good country, America. And you can go ahead and click an appointment from anywhere, from the mountains, from the desert, from your airplane seat coming across. If you go ahead and make a reservation on that app, you're good as gold. That's an exception. How many of these people have cell phones? How many people, because I don't see it anywhere, how many people are downloading this app? Let's see if all of a sudden this app doesn't become like the #1 downloaded app on iTunes or something. Or are they going to hide it and make it only available on the government website? How many people are going to be downloading this app? Because if you go ahead and, basically sign up, get your reservation, you're good to go.
1,000 to 1,500 every day, and then they're released into the country. This executive order does not touch that.
Doesn't touch it. But Barry, he just said that he wanted to secure the border. Yeah, and we're doing that end run because that's what this is all about. Her exact words. That's what she said. I don't even know who that is. Somebody getting pissed off. Okay. All right. So let's continue here.
It's exempted. It also exempts the controversial program where up to 30,000 migrants per month are flying directly into the United States from foreign countries via a mass parole program the Biden administration has put in place. That's for migrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela.
So if you got a ticket, if you got a plane ticket, hey, you're all good too. 30,000 per month can come flying into America on plane tickets that you're paying for. That you're getting your hard-earned money, shelling out tickets so that these people from these other countries can just fly in. Sound like they're securing the border to you? No, but it gets better.
In over 450,000 people into the country that way so far. This executive order also does not touch that. So we are talking thousands of people coming into the country every single day that is left completely alone. What does the order? Well, excuse me, there's one more exception as well.
Okay, this one more exception. Remember, I think it was Maria 622 talked about the exploitation of children. Listen to this one.
Unaccompanied children and minors are not touched by this executive order. So that's going to raise concerns about possible child trafficking. The cartel.
Unaccompanied children and unaccompanied minors, bring them all in. Where the hell are they coming from? How are there unaccompanied minors? How are there unaccompanied children just showing up at the border? Does that not terrify you? Well, we're not going to basically keep parents away from their children. That's what Joe said. Well, Joe, who are these kids? Every single one of those kids, despite what we're doing here in America, has two parents. There is a father and a mother. You are, by order, accepting and separating those families. You lied to the American people. Well, they just showed up. No, they didn't. Where did they come from? How did an unaccompanied child show up at the border with a teddy bear? America. That's sick. That's absolutely sick. What you just did was encouraged the promulgation, the explosion of exploitation of children. Where did they come from? When they get here, where are they going? I am absolutely terrified for these kids. We know a whole bunch of Haitian kids got lost. We don't know where they are. What do you mean? A bunch of people who've crossed the border, the kids. We don't know where. What do you mean you don't know where kids are? And now you've accepted them from this border security order that you put out and said, come on in. We need as many of these kids as we can get in here. But where'd they come from and where are they going? Who are they? Who's your mom and dad? Are you kidding me? You're not separating children from their parents, their families? You absolutely, not only are you just doing it, you're encouraging it. Any of you who are parents, I know you feel exactly the same way. There is no way in hell you would say to little Shirley and to little Bobby, see you later. Go to America. You wouldn't do it. What parents are saying, here, take my kid. Bye-bye. And I have no way of knowing where that child is going. Because they're not going to ask me. They're not going to call me later and say, hey, Mr. So-and-so, we've got your son. No. So, where's these kids going? I can't believe that's our country that's doing that.
Those will essentially be able to market to migrants and say, hey, give us your children. We'll get them across the border to the United States. We'll get them to the federal government. Pay us money. The United States isn't going to deport them. We'll get them across the border. The U.S. government will then get them wherever you want in the United States. That's
to who? Does little Bobby have an uncle in New York? Do they have to prove at the border? What? The kid's not going to have any paperwork. The kid's not going to say, I'm supposed to go see Aunt Joanne. I'm 7, I'm 8, I'm 9 years old. I'm terrified. Who knows what I've gone through to get here? And I'm showing up with my little backpack and my little Sony Walkman or, PS game, whatever. And I'm looking at these soldiers. I'm like, I'm terrified. And go over there and go in that cage and eat some food and we'll figure out where we're sending you. I'm ashamed to be an American, understanding that Joe is actually encouraging that activity. That is absolutely sick. It's scary. It's frightening. It's disgusting. It's unholy. What the hell are you doing with these kids? I don't even want to go there. I don't even want to let my mind get to that place.
Actually, exactly what's happening right now. There are other exceptions as well. Migrants are still able to claim fear once they're apprehended.
What? I'm afraid. Come on in. You're good. I'm afraid. No worries. You got you. You know the magic word? Afraid. Come on in. What about you? Scared. Come on in. That's a hell of an end run, isn't it? Kathy Hochul wasn't joking. Every once in a while you got to do an end run. That's what we're all about. That's what this is all about. All I have to do is show up at the border, either with my reservation, my plane ticket you paid for, logged into some app, and say, I'm afraid. Let that sink in. Be afraid. Because that's all it takes. I'm afraid. I don't know how to say that in Spanish. I'm afraid. I'm scared. Somebody's after me. I don't know what to do. I'm afraid. No problem. No problem. We got you. You got the magic word. And you look at that line, and that line is like way down the street in the dirt. Who are all these people? Oh, they're all afraid. Oh, no problem. Just get them in. He lied to the American public to their face. The media, complicit with it, hasn't announced these exceptions. How many of you knew these exceptions existed? A kid, unaccompanied, no problem. Flying in from Cuba, points unknown, on tickets that somebody's paid for, the government's paid for, no problem. You got this app on your phone? No problem. At some point, the American people have to stand up and go, we're done with this, man. You are a bold-faced liar. I won't be looking to do anything like my predecessor. I will not be separating kids from their families. And the very document you're talking about separates kids from their families. But nobody's going to tell you that. It's disgusting.
Biden claims he'll shut down the border if illegal crossings hit 2,500 a day.
The entirety of what he just said, when you think about it, if it hits 2,500 a day, then we'll shut it down. Doesn't include all the exceptions. This is just 2,500 people who just, we just happen to find. That's not a secure border. You're still letting in basically 60, 70,000 people a month, 1 million people a year. That's not securing the border. That's just trying to manage it as these 2,500, but you're not even counting the rest.
But they're already over 3,000. So let's just say Biden shuts down the border immediately. What does it really mean?
Doesn't mean
it
shit.
Means this. If Jose gets caught crossing the border, and if we say, Mexico, take him, and Mexico just says, no way, Jose stays in Estados Unidos. Biden has no deal with Mexico. They just elected a new president yesterday. She's brand new.
Not only is she brand new, she's basically, from what I've read, she's as bad as AOC. Let me just put it that way.
Biden hasn't even called to congratulate her, let alone cut a deal. There's no plan to deport anyone.
No one. You get here, you stay. But Barry, we just heard him say he's going to do an executive order to secure the border. He lied. Remember what Kathy Hochul said. The entire time you're seeing everything in the news from here on out about the border, she said on camera with a smile, every now and then you have to do an end run. And this is what it's all about. She told you. It's all BS. Complete BS. They're not stopping anything.
Biden's just hoping that they leave. What happens is he keeps releasing them into the country, but they just aren't allowed to apply for asylum. So they just stay here in the shadows or in hotels for free.
With no jobs, no money, maybe get an ATM card from New York if they end up there. It's worse. It's absolutely worse.
It's not like he's flying the Venezuelans back to Venezuela. Venezuela won't accept deportation flights. Migrants are still going to come here, and they're just going to stay because they're just not going to need asylum. So Biden's shutting down asylum claims, right?
Yep.
Wrong. Biden's still letting 1,400 illegals per day come into the country if they use the asylum app. You remember Open Table for Illegals?
I don't mean to laugh, but that's basically what it is. It's open tables for the people coming across. They just got to make their reservation.
You get to make a reservation to break into the country? And if you're a minor, Biden's executive order still lets you in. You get asylum. Or if you've been trafficked, which literally every migrant is, Biden still lets you in.
That's sinful. That to me is the most evil thing about this entire order. How are you going to protect these kids? How are you going to protect them on their way here? God knows what'll happen to them just as they're traveling to the United States. You're putting these kids in a position right now where they're going to be in somebody else's custody to do whatever they want prior to getting them to America. Because you know that the CBP, they're not emergency medicine technicians. They're not going to look at these kids and be able to give them any sort of overview, clinical awareness, and look at what's going on with them. Kid may be crying, but they're going to get passed on, and someone, by then, the deeds have already taken place. That to me is evil. It nearly brings me to tears thinking what could happen with these kids. That they can just be moved across continents, countries, with nobody knowing where they're going and where they're going to end up. I can't believe people aren't burning down the White House about this. And I'm not condoning violence. I'm saying burning up the phone lines. What the hell are you doing? What do you mean you're going to encourage children unaccompanied to move through wherever to come to the United States? Florida native says, yeah, we're just screwed. Yeah, we are. Thank you, Gina, very much. No one is voting for Biden. I hope so. This is crazy, absolutely crazy. Hey, Barry, full of hope in Ireland. Just wrote that these people are anti-USA without uniforms. To me, that possibly explains the cell phones. Yeah, it could. It's crazy. The cartel is not supplying new foods, new clothes, food, and cell phones. It is the government that is supplying all of this stuff. I mean, you and me. That's what it means. Janie Cavender says, me too, Barry. It's sad for the children. Very sad. Very, very sad. And it's even sadder that our president looked in a camera and absolutely lied to the American people. I can't forgive him for that. I can forgive him for all the stuff he's already done to us. Some of us were stupid enough to vote for him. Some of us were stupid enough to just think it would be okay. These are kids. They're completely helpless. There is nobody there to help them on their travel across the world from wherever they're coming from. There is nobody. Some of them probably can't even tell you what has happened to them. Think about that for a second. You're a kid coming from, I don't know, Mauritania, and you're by yourself, moving from airport to boat, wherever. You can't speak the language anywhere. And across your travels, somebody does something to you, and they did it to you 3 weeks ago. And then you show up in this country called America, and eventually, hopefully, somebody gives you some medical attention. And by then, they're like, well, what happened to you? Some guy did something somewhere along the way, and I have no idea who did it. There's nothing I can tell you. I've just been hurt. if you can even articulate those words. I just want you to think about that. Our country is facilitating kids who can show up in our country, who need and require medical attention for something that potentially could have happened to them. I'm having to be careful with my words here. And that child cannot articulate to you what's been done or who's done it. Imagine your own children at this point. Imagine your 5-year-old child goes out to play soccer. Some guy says, I'm taking you to America. And little Shirley or little Bobby's gone. They're on some road to America. They are basically chattel, chattel. They are goods. They are goods to be marketed. And they're goods to be used, as somebody may see fit. All I have to do is make sure I deliver you to where you're going. It doesn't say anything about what condition I have to deliver you. 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, Shirley shows up in America, and by now the tears have dried. The blood has dried. And I'm in America, and you're examined, and something has happened to Shirley, and there's nothing she can tell you about it. I don't even know what happened. I can't even tell you the words as to what happened to me because I don't know. And I can't tell you who did it. I can't tell you where they did it. I can't even tell you when they did it. Where's my mom? I don't know. Sorry. Put her over there. That's not America. That is not an America I expect to be living in, where we cannot even protect kids coming from other countries who shouldn't even be coming from other countries unaccompanied. But everything I just said, just put your empathy at that point and understanding our president is enabling that to occur. Our president has said back, hey, I'm not going to separate families from kids and parents from their families and whatever else I can't say because I don't know what I'm talking about, but the kids are going to be fine when they get here. If you've listened to anything in that trial today about Hunter Biden, you'll know this family is sick. Absolutely sick. And now we have this guy enabling the transportation, that's the word I'll use because they won't flag that, the transportation of kids internationally that we have no idea where they're coming from. Makes me so angry.
With asylum. And Biden's still flying in 30,000 migrants a month. That doesn't stop. But this is the best part. Migrants can still show up at the border and claim they're scared, and they're fast-tracked into the country. You get it?
I'm afraid, like I said. If you're hearing this all for the first time, maybe you've seen the news in the last couple of days or the last day or so, and maybe you knew this. But if you did know it, now you know, an hour and a half into this show, now you know you've been bamboozled. You've been hoodwinked. You've been lied to. He's looked you right in the eye, and he lied to you. And you understand fully now. I've tried to be as non-graphic as possible, but now you understand fully the evilness of what this man has done. And there's no excusing it. For what reason? To hopefully gain some points on an election? That's not going to work, Joe, because we all know at this point, we're all talking about it. We're letting the word out. We're letting people know that you lied and you're putting people in danger, and you're not stopping anything. Nothing whatsoever.
Asylum if you say you're scared. I'm sure the migrants have never heard that. This executive order just orders more illegals.
He's absolutely right. All it does is basically serve up the opportunity for more people to show up. Now, instead of just showing up, you've got to, which thing on the menu are you going to pick? You're going to pick the app? You're going to say, I'm scared. You're going to send a kid over. You're going to fly in. You pick and choose. It's a buffet. It's a migrant buffet at this point. None of those things does anything to secure the border. You lied to the American people. Fortunately, there's still, it seems like maybe a few people in the media who are kind of looking side-eye at this shit and going, hey man, this doesn't sound right. Check this out. This is, I believe, ABC News.
On the details of this executive order and how it actually functions that we've learned so far today, I actually have to say I'm quite skeptical that this is going to have any kind of immediate, widespread, dramatic impact on the border.
Now, he's NBC. So understand this guy right here is probably never going to be seen again. He'll probably never be able to get another report on what Biden's doing because he went, yeah, I'm skeptical. I don't think this is going to do anything.
Number of migrants who are crossing the border and on the number of migrants who managed to stay in the United States as a result. And there's a few complicated reasons for that. But the main one is that I and a lot of other people were expecting that this authority to, quote unquote, close down the border was going to be dependent on the United States being able to summarily expel migrants with no due process, no access to the asylum system, immediately back into Mexico shortly after they cross.
That's what everybody thought, right? Maybe it looks like he's finally going to do it. So everyone thought until they saw the details, hey, we're finally closing the border. You know, he understands he needs to do something because he's losing so bad in the election that he must close it, right? Nope.
That does not appear to be the case, mainly because Mexico has not agreed to accept any more migrants than it already does. Mexico has pretty strict, specific requirements on the number of migrants that it accepts and on the nationality of migrants that it accepts. And the U.S. cannot simply...
Yeah. Not only Mexico's like, well, wait a second. No, Vietnam, no, that's not on the approved list. That's not going to happen. Mauritania, no, we're not going to take that either. Joe's letting everybody come, no matter where you're from. We don't care. Viva Nepal!
We return people to Mexico without Mexico's active participation.
And Katie, a lot of this is actually trying to actually seem like he is doing something. And
he actually said that on the air. When I heard this, when I heard this, and the guy goes, most of this is just him trying to show like he's doing something. Doesn't mean anything. He actually said that on television. This guy might be banished to Siberia as well. He may never get any more storied credentials. He's just trying to look like he's doing something.
In focus groups that I've been able to listen to from undecided voters, they often end up pointing to some of the inaction that is coming on the border from the president as one of the demerits against him. And Monica ended up mentioning that this seems to be trying to shore up a political vulnerability. And Katie, in our own polling, in our April 2024 NBC News poll, just 28% of American voters ended up approving of the job the president was doing on immigration.
28%. Just for you math inclined people, that means 72% of everybody, not just Republicans, not Democrats, everybody are like, hey, this dude doesn't know what he's doing. He's killing us. He's killing the country.
In a poll that we had a year ago in 2023, our poll had Republicans with an 18-point advantage over Democrats on what party better handles immigration. That was the highest lead that Republicans...
And now it's at 27.
Have ever enjoyed on that, and the worst deficit the Democrats have ever had.
So there you go. That's Dementia Joe's border plan. Completely exposed for you. Went a little bit long here. I haven't done a show with you guys this long, an hour and 48 minutes. But I wanted to make sure I encompassed everything. Showed you from soup to nuts that Dementia Joe is a lying, evil hack. Only doing this to try and make, as the guy from NBC said, to try and make it look like he's doing something. And now you've got some, obviously, in the media. He's always had Fox as a thorn in his side. But now you've got others in the media going, yeah, nah, this ain't gonna cut it. And I think the biggest thing that Trump can go after him on is the kids. If I were Trump, I would talk nonstop at the debate. He's got the big rally on Sunday in Las Vegas. He's got the town hall tomorrow night. I hope you join me for that. I hope you really join me for the rally in Vegas. And just say, what in the hell is this going on here? How are you letting these kids and encouraging these kids to be transported across multiple countries? What are you thinking, Joe? This is insane. You're telling the world, as Kathy Hochul said, you'll do anything for a vote. Whoever your puppet masters are and they're doing whatever they got to do, you will do anything, which should scare you even further. Because if he's willing to put all of these kids at risk, what do you think he's willing to do to us? That's the thing that frightens me. Every one of these polls is coming out. And whenever they show these polls, it's like, ooh, ow, that hurts. Ouch. Oops. Ow. Ooh. And they were hoping to get this big bump after the conviction of Trump. Yeah, that didn't work either. And so now Trump's holding this. You can't stop him now. Trump's got two events. He's got tomorrow night, he's doing a town hall meeting in Phoenix, Arizona. And then on Sunday or Saturday, the 9th, he's doing a rally in the desert, in the hot desert of Las Vegas. And he's just going to keep reeling these events off. And people are going to see. You saw what happened at UFC. People loved him. Joe's hiding. There's nothing he can do. There's nothing he can do to stop the onslaught at this point. Just to recap, I told you, the Georgia case, done. Georgia State Court of Appeals said, Fannie Willis, cool your jets. We're going to look at you. Eileen Cannon, Jack Smith, hey, this guy was never appointed correctly. We're going to hold off on that. It just keeps getting worse for the Democrats. I don't even, at this point, after what happened with this laptop story today, I don't think I'm going to put any credence in any poll that says Dementia Joe is even close to Donald Trump. I'm still standing by a landslide. I keep seeing more and more black people. I keep seeing more and more Hispanics. I keep seeing people say, I don't see any excitement from the Biden camp. I don't see anything, and you don't see any signs. I don't see anything. I keep seeing those videos. People are searching. Hey, listen, nope, nothing here. So I cannot believe the polls that say, oh, Trump's only up by Biden by 2%. No way. No friggin' way. I guess maybe because of my religious faith, I cannot believe any adult over the 18 is willing to vote for somebody who purposely, intentionally puts children in danger. That, to me, if it was Trump, would be a deal killer. It would be a complete deal killer. And right now, Dementia Joe, or through his puppet masters, because he probably doesn't even know what he's saying, has said, yeah, just bring these unaccompanied minors in, no questions asked, and they're going to be able to stay. And nobody in the media is asking the question, where did they come from? How are you going to determine that? And where are they going to go? And how are you going to keep records on them? Wasn't in the proposal or the order. What's the mechanics of this? How is it going to happen? God help us. God help these children. We are being led by an evil man at this point. An evil organization. They lied about the laptop. They will do anything to try and win. Florida native says, Proverbs, where there is no vision, the people perish. Good point. Very good point. Kwame, I see what you said, but I can't. Some of these comments I just can't put them on the screen because the people who peer in may have a problem with it. Ishfun, you're absolutely right. God, please step in. I'm going to end it with that one. God, please step in. Save these kids. Save America. I know you hear our prayers. Collectively, we're 2 or more gathered in churches across the country, even in this chat. We need some serious help. These people, you just saw it. You just saw the exposure of the laptop and all of these people who did anything they could possibly do to lie just so it wouldn't hurt Dementia Joe. Nothing else is needed. There's no coming away back from that. And not a single one of them has apologized. You got caught red-handed, Leslie Stahl. You got caught red-handed questioning the president, Donald Trump at the time, saying it couldn't be verified. 51 intelligence officers are looking really unintelligent right now. 51. That's our government? You had 51 people organized by Tony Blinken, the Secretary of State, to lie on behalf of Dementia Joe? And then you had your minions in the media basically destroy anybody who wanted to talk about it. You banned, at that time before Elon Musk took over, you banned a media outlet, a newspaper, from publishing about it. The New York Post and Miranda Devine broke the story and you basically banned them and took it down. You banned people off of YouTube, Facebook, wherever. You couldn't talk about that thing. And today it gets entered into evidence. And nobody's apologizing. Nobody's saying, yeah, we did something bad. Because you didn't. You knew exactly what you were doing. So don't tell me that Dementia Joe is leading in some poll by 2 or 3% nationally. Yeah, he's maybe leading in California. I'm thinking New York may be in play. I'm thinking maybe New Jersey might be in play. Definitely Virginia is in play. People have had enough. And the only way that grows is for you, for people like you, to keep continuing to let everyone know what the hell is going on. Because we're not going to get it from the media. People aren't reading the fine print in these documents. He's taken this press conference. He's like, I'm going to secure the border. We're going to do that. We're going to do that thing. And I could not believe that Kathy Hochul went on television minutes later and said, every once in a while you have to do an end run. And that's what today is all about. Are you kidding me? You just told us you lied to us and you had no problem saying it? But I guess you could basically get used to Kathy Hochul lying like that because she says it all the time. By the way, as far as she knows, black kids can't use computers. How much more? How much more can people take with these people lying to your face? Absolutely looking you in the eye and lying. Some of you guys saw my video earlier today when Piers Morgan had some idiot on his show and just completely eviscerated this woman who had no clue what she's talking about. They have no problem looking you in the eye, dead in the eye, without blinking and lying to you. Makes me sick to my stomach. I hope you guys have a good evening. Thanks for tuning in and listening to my rantings for the last 2 hours. I hope I informed you, hope I entertained you, hope I educated you, and I hope you take what I've said today and you tell other people. You tell other people. Forget the app. Forget the fly-ins. Well, not forget them. But when you tell people, hey, listen, did you hear about this? Did you hear about this? Did you hear about that? Did you hear about the app? Did you hear about them flying people in? Did you hear about them only having to say, I'm afraid, okay. And then did you hear about them taking unaccompanied children and doing God knows what with them? Scream it. Tell everybody. Tell everybody. It's that dire. It's that important. And also make sure everybody knows today that everything that you've been lied to about for the last couple of years exploded into truth today. There are no more conspiracy theories. We have to know at this point that that guy who owned that island, who the guards fell asleep and they took him out, there are no conspiracy theories. I still have to be careful what I say here, but you don't have to be careful when you talk to other people. Talk to you tomorrow night. I forget what time it is, but you'll see the notification.